Welcome back to another episode of Mindless Podcast. Today we are joined by Eva. I don't know where she is again. Maybe she's
She's
somewhere.
above me.
I don't know.
I
But we're gonna start off today with a riddle because why not? But
Okay, so our riddle today is: you live in a one-story house made entirely of redwood. What color are the stairs?
Oh, I know this one. Should I not say anything because I know this riddle?
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything.
All right, I'll be quiet.
I was really stupid, and then I looked at the answer. I was like, oh.
Yeah,
I
I've
feel really
heard not this
easy.
exact one, but I've heard
This is so
variations of this
easy.
one before.
Seneca knows this one too.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Just think about it.
There's no stairs though.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, our second one. Mr. and Mrs. Mustard have 6 daughters, and every daughter has a brother. How many people are in the Mustard family?
Wait, say that again.
Mr. and Mrs. Mustard have 6 daughters, and
Is it-
every daughter has a brother. How many people are in the
Oh.
family?
Is
Got
it
it.
9?
It's including.
Yep.
So today's topic is weird childhood stories. I think we've all had a good share of them.
I was a super odd child. I was very odd. I had a large vocabulary for the age I was, just because I read a lot. I also learned to read using the weather in the newspaper. Like I'd read the weather, and also Calvin and Hobbes, which has sort of a whole variety of strange vocabulary. It's a comic strip, but it's written for adults, so it has very big words. So I would have a really strange vocabulary as like an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old, and it was kind of off-putting to some people, I think. But I also was like a shy child and wouldn't talk to many people at all. Preschool, when I was playing with the little plastic animals in the sandbox, and I love to play with plastic animals. I love to do anything that used my imagination or I could tell stories with when I was little. So I was playing with the little plastic animals by myself, and apparently she came up to me and she was like, "Hey, like, do you want me to join you? Like, do you want to play with me?" And I looked at her and I was like, "No." And I went back to playing with my plastic animals, and she was like, "Okay," and then left. She was a very extroverted person. Especially when she was little, she would always be very friendly to everyone. And she saw me by myself and was probably like, "Oh, I'll go hang out with her because she's, by herself." But I just didn't want to. I just was like, "Nope." Anyway, I didn't remember that story, but I thought it was amusing when she
Yeah.
told it to me.
In preschool, we also had a little sandbox thing. But the weird part is, I remember like we all lined up to play with the sandbox, and I'm just realizing now, when it's like your turn, you're just gonna play by yourself for like 2 minutes because
With
everyone else is
everyone-
like behind you, so you can't play with them. So I guess you just play by yourself. Anyways, it was my turn, and I had waited long, okay? And this kid just pushed me. He just straight up pushed me when it was my turn. So that's my experience with
Like-
sandboxes.
My sandbox story, I think, still in preschool, and we basically just have these group of kids. So I was just kind of like this shy kid, and I just sit there and listen to them. And this one time we were just talking about how Michael Jackson died. So
You're in preschool. You're
That's-
literally
that's
in
kinda good
preschool. What the heck? I
preschooler
didn't even know who he
there.
was then.
no,
Yes.
I didn't either at that time. So I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Why are you talking about his death?
Why did you guys all have sandboxes at preschool? Like I did too, but they closed it half of the time because they didn't want to deal with the
Aw.
sand in people's clothes. So
Oh,
I would go and I would like hold the playground, like the play structure. I would hold that hostage with my friends. Like I'd have 2 other friends and be like, okay, this is our place now. And we'd like huddle around the space so that no one would be able to walk. Like it was right in the middle between the two, like the stairs and the slide. And we were like,
oh
right
yeah.
and we would like hold it hostage pretty much. But no one else really cared because they were like
Did you
vice
like threaten it?
on the side.
Or
Huh?
hold that hostage?
You
to,
should have
like-
charged money. You should have
Wait,
been
like,
like
you
$1
just-
kid. You get to go down the slide.
Yeah. But like at some point, I think one of the days like they weren't there, and I went and I was just looking at cars passing by because Parkside Preschool there's a fence, and the
Yeah,
rest of
yeah,
it is
yeah.
the street, and then the inside of it's the preschool.
Like-
Just looking through the fence at the cars, like waiting for my mom to come, and this kid comes up to me and she's like, and she just turns me around. So now I'm facing her, my back's against the fence, and she just straight up like scratched me like Wolverine style. Like I had like this 3-mark
Oh my
thing over here
God.
for like 2 weeks, and my mom was like, "What happened?" when she picked me up, and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe at that point I had already held the play structure hostage for like 2 weeks, and that was retribution or something. But I did not appreciate it. Like it came out of nowhere. She just walked away after. There were no words exchanged. I was just like, I didn't even cry. I was just like
Wow.
standing there, like, what just happened?
Did you guys ever do the thing in preschool where like you decided who you were gonna marry? And so it's essentially like whoever your best friend was, you were like, I'm gonna marry that person or whatever. So everyone was like talking about who in the class they were gonna marry. And then I remember one of the kids came up to me and told me that I couldn't get married because I wore glasses.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Wow, getting roasted at such a young age. Damn.
Well, I mean, I know, yeah. Also, because my hair was my hair was long when I was in preschool. It was like, I remember a different girl came up to me and was like, "I bet your hair hangs in the toilet when you go to the bathroom." And,
Oh my God.
and
They're so mean to you.
and I was very distressed. I was like, "No, it doesn't." And then I was super distressed, but I couldn't think of any sort of comeback. And so then
Exactly.
I told my mom and my sibling, but they like told me I should have said something. And I was like, all right. And then the next day, I went up to her in after school, in like the after school program, and told her that. And so it was like I gave my comeback a day late, which is
She's probably like enjoying her
love
snacks,
that.
and you just come up here like, and you're like getting up in her face, and she's like,
Okay.
"What are you doing?"
I also remember the same girl. I remember one time, I don't know why, but I have this distinct memory of chasing after her as she ran to the teacher because I called her an idiot.
I think I've had like a similar experience in
Yeah, because
elementary
I just
school.
remember chasing her and being like, "No, I didn't mean it," and she was very distressed.
Okay, but your poor mom or your sister, how do you come, like, how old were you again?
I was in preschool.
So, like, you're five,
Oh,
your 5-year-old little sister comes up to you and says, this girl says that my hair is so long, it probably hangs in the toilet. How do you respond if your preschool sister's getting bullied for her hair length? What do you even do? What do you do? Like,
yeah, I don't. They didn't seem super distressed. They were probably like, "Oh, you shouldn't like take it to heart or whatever." It distressed me a lot. I was very offended. I was like, "My hair does not hang in the toilet. It doesn't. I'm very good and hygienic."
let's go circle back. Let's do some more childhood. How about Halloween experiences? Because those are great at school. One time I was Anna from Frozen, and so just look at my face and then just imagine freaking like a red wig with like braids. It did not look well. Oh my God, Asian Anna should not be a thing. Okay,
I mean, it's okay.
just
One
no.
time I was literally a ghost. This was like in elementary school. I was still pretty young. It was at the early end of elementary school, but I wasn't like a cool looking ghost. I took a sheet and cut 2 holes in it and put it over my head, and that was my Halloween costume for the year. And
I feel like
that's so
fine with
that's
that.
so cliche.
What a fine
And
DIY.
it was such sad and low effort too. I think I was also a vampire at one point.
Oh, same.
No.
Same.
Luigi at one point. My Mario dreams are really coming true.
Was your brother Mario?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
That's
the height
great.
works out.
Oh,
Age doesn't,
no,
but you know.
I don't think so. I think we were like about the
No?
same height.
Oh.
I was a short child. Fight me. Wait, I think I was like the third shortest in my class.
Welcome to my world. Like I'm
I would've been, like,
always
the
the
third
shortest in my
tallest.
class.
That's just the world you live in is the short world. Living the
Like,
short life.
in
You didn't choose the
preschool-
short life. The short life chose you.
In preschool,
Yes, Melanie,
like,
come on with those comebacks.
I don't have any.
Oh, are you gonna wait a day to? Are you gonna come back tomorrow afternoon and have a
Oh
comeback?
no, I wish I had the brain like that. I'd come back like a month later and be like, remember when you said this? Yeah, well.
Guess what?
But in preschool, speaking of costumes, like I was a pumpkin, like just a straight up pumpkin for Halloween. And there's just me in a suit with a bunch of stuffing inside and like a face on my belly. And that was me for like 2 years.
Aww.
And it went
See, I
down to
would
my
love
sister. So my
that.
sister was also a pumpkin for 2 years. Yeah. I
think-
feel like I have to make Briley wear that now someday. It's just like you gotta be a pumpkin for preschool.
Carry on the tradition. Did you guys have bangs when you were a kid?
Yeah,
My mom
Yes,
I
cut
don't
they were
bangs.
so
Oh
cute.
my god.
I had
I oh, never mind. Ooh.
Like
it was a
bangs, bangs. Like
struggle. Like
I
fourth
hated
grade, I
bangs.
started clipping it, so you'd always see me with like I had so many clips in fourth and fifth grade, so I can grow them out. But it was rough. I did not enjoy them, but my mom was like, "Yeah, I'm helping you keep your hairline at the same place," and I'm like, "I don't know what that is." Like I just see
wait, is that a
bangs and I
thing?
have to cut them, and they get in my eyes, and it's like it's not fun. So I started clipping them, and eventually they grew out, but it took like a solid year.
What is going
I
on?
remember I had when I was little, I had bangs sort of like across the forehead, like pretty unflattering. But I also had like the thickest sort of like white and gray, like almost goggle looking glasses. Because I first got glasses when I was 2. Because
Oh.
this eye was very poor. I had like astigmatism and couldn't see much out of it. And so they were like, well, if we don't put glasses on her, her brain is just like genuinely her brain is going to just start ignoring that eye because it doesn't see well enough to actually get anything out of it. So they're like, well, if we don't get her in glasses soon, she might just go blind in one eye. So I had glasses I've had glasses since I was like 2. But since I was, essentially, since I was like a toddler, right? They had to have these sort of like rubber like wraparound glasses that were super ugly just so they stay on my face and didn't like break all the time. So there were some pretty stupid looking pictures of me when I was
Yeah.
little. But in contrast to that, an amusing story of this was when I was slightly older. I remember Charlie actually went in. They were like auditioning for a commercial or something, and apparently the people who are like running the auditions or whatever, they were like, all right, we don't want your eldest child, but then they pointed to me and they were like, we do want her though,
What does that even mean?
which is a
Oh.
big oof to Charlie. They were like, we don't want Charlie, but we do want Heather. So they took a couple of like professional pictures of me, and then they like talked to my family about like having me be like like a child model,
Ooh.
but it would
Fancy.
require one of them to like quit their job and chauffeur me around places, and neither of them were going to do that, so they were like, no. So that's how I was robbed of my childhood fame.
I had this like one moment, like we went to this concert in Las Vegas for Joey Young, who's like a Chinese singer, and she'd come around like every once in a while. And I remember I was like 4 years old. I just won this like big bear in the circus or something like that. So I would like it was so big, and my mom was allergic to stuff that had a lot of fur in it. So she was like, "No, you're gonna have to give this away." And we were going to the concert that day, and my dad had known a few of the security guards that were working there. I don't know how, but he did. And he was like,
Damn, got
yeah,
those
give this to her.
connections.
And they were like, yeah, sure. And they were like, oh yeah, she wants your daughter to come and give it to her up on stage if she's okay with that. And I was like, okay, cool. But then I go up there and she was like, oh, it's very so. And she goes, oh, thank you, thank you. And she's like, and the song comes on, and I'm like, what? And she's like, here, do you want to stay up here or do you want to go down? I'm like, I want to stay up here. Thank goodness I knew the song because then she put me on the mic and I sang alone, like 4-year-old squeaky voice, high pitched music.
Wow.
That's so cute.
And
I need a
there's
video of that.
videos of it on YouTube. And I was just singing, and then at the end, she was like, "So how do you know this song? This is like made before you were alive." And I'm like, "I don't know. I listened to your songs on the way back from preschool," and I was like so shy about it.
That's honestly
And
so adorable.
I forgot
great.
about it for years until someone like mentioned something to me, and it just like caught my memory. And I was like, okay, let's go watch the YouTube video. But under the YouTube video, guys, like, oh yeah, I heard they do this all the time where they have a kid by the stage ready to do this. It's like some kind of like it was set up, and I was like, I'm
You were set up.
yeah, totally. I had a person come to me and be like, here's the bear, give it to her, sing,
Yeah.
get off the stage. That's it.
When you
But-
mentioned the security guards, I thought you were gonna give them the bear to hold. So I just imagine this like really masculine dude at the door with like this huge
With a
stuffed
big,
animal,
like,
like
bear
ID.
next But then, like, 4 years later, we went to the concert again. This time it was her again. And, like, we somehow snuck to the front seats because no one, like, they either didn't come or didn't make it in time because there was a snowstorm. And my dad was like, yeah, let's go steal those seats. No one's going to sit there. So we go in the front. And then somehow she like saw me. She was like, "Oh my goodness, you're that kid that I sang with 4 years ago." And she sang the same song again. So this time I did not go on stage because I was too scared.
Did you
She
get invited?
remembered
Was she
you.
like, you wanna?
I was 8, and I was like, I just felt really awkward because like 4-year-olds can do like anything. They don't really care.
Yeah,
The
Yeah, they don't
8-year-old
really
girl was
care.
starting to get a little bit nervous, and I was like, and she just sang, and I was like, huh. It's like that thing where they do the happy birthday song, and you're just standing there
Yeah.
awkwardly. That's how I felt when I was 8.
Oh, I hated birthdays. Especially when it was my birthday in like preschool. My brother gets all the attention when he comes.
That's my sister too. They'd be like, "Oh my goodness, she's so cute." And I'm like, "It's my birthday." I was very angry about it. I was like, "It's my birthday," and they give
"Oh my
Natalie
God."
presents during my birthday, and I was like,
They didn't go
Wait,
that far for
yeah.
me.
yeah.
In 5th grade, there was a party, and then someone had brought me like my birthday gift, and then like, oh, and this is for your sister, and I was like,
"Oh, it ain't
Yeah.
her birthday."
So when we were younger, my parents were close family friends with another couple who had a daughter who was roughly Charlie's age. I like to joke that I wished I had her as an older sibling because she was nicer to me than Charlie was. Because Charlie was my older sibling, so Charlie would like bug me and stuff. But she was always really nice to me, or at least that I remembered. But apparently not always, because Charlie has told me a story of one time when I was really little. I was like, I don't know, maybe 2. So I was a really young child. They tried to lure me with goldfish, like on the floor, goldfish crackers on the floor, to a spot where they could trap me under a laundry basket. I don't know what they were planning on doing to me, but they were like set up a trap with like goldfish on the floor, hoping to sort of like I guess I hoped I would follow the goldfish Hansel and Gretel style.
yeah. When my sister couldn't read yet, I remember we were taking a bath, and then after I'd given her the shampoo, and she was like rubbing in her hair, and then I looked at the bottle, I'm like, oh, did you know they'll turn your hair white? She was like, and I was like, but I always told her, and then she always got mad. But it was so much fun.
I mean, the weirdest experience I've had with my brother was, I think, he was trying to look for me. We were playing hide and seek, and he just couldn't find me for whatever reason. And the excuse I gave him was I turned into a toilet.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? That sounds.
I hope you said it really casually, like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I was just turning into a toilet.
No,
You didn't see me."
I went to like because we have a bathroom, so we walked down. I was like, "Oh yeah, I turned into a toilet." Whatever, let's move on.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm here now.
As a child, if that is something Charlie had said to me after a game of hide and seek, I would 100% have believed them. Another thing Charlie did when we were little, which always like super distressed me, is like we would be on the couch or whatever, and they would like wrap their arms around me and like lay their head on my stomach or whatever or my leg and would be like pillow. And then I'd try and get them off of me, but they would just keep on using me as a pillow, and they keep on saying pillow, and I'd be like stop, and I would like squirm a bunch and try to get them off me. But I would also follow them around and call them boppy. I couldn't pronounce many words, and wasn't super smart. One time I was sort of like in my crib and I kept on asking for boppy. I was like boppy, boppy, and they had no idea who boppy was. They were like, who is my mom came in, my dad came in. They were trying to like figure out what I wanted. Did I want a stuffed animal? Did I want one of them? But like I was super distressed.
I would think she was possessed. I'd be like, who?
Eventually, they found out that I was actually asking for Charlie because mom calls Charlie baby because Charlie was 4, right? So mom would call Charlie baby. So I was trying to say baby, but I couldn't pronounce it right, so I would say boppy instead. But then when I was like 4 and Charlie was like 8 or whatever, I would always follow them around calling them boppy because it got on their nerves. They really disliked the nickname, but they would call me Shrimpy, so I feel like it all works out.
Okay, what about like funny words as a kid? Because when I was a kid, I don't have like any explanation for this, but like I used to call lasagna batanye. There's no correlation. I don't know. Questionable child.
Batanya sounds kind of like lasagna, so you probably just mispronounced it.
Like, and I could not pronounce my L's. They were all Y's. So like instead of lows, we went to yos.
Oh yeah.
My dad made fun of me so much. He's like, we're gonna go to Yo's, and I was like, oh my god. When I got my retainers, my mom threw me a bunch of tongue twisters just to see me like pain and agony as I try to like speak and I can't. She's like, funny. So yeah.
But at least for you guys, like adults, they'd say it and expect it to be like funny. One time at one of my piano like recitals, I was messing up my chords and stuff in the beginning because I got really nervous and my hands were sweaty and I'd like slip and mess up. And this one mom came up to me and it was like intermission between our like technique stuff and then our like songs, and she was like, "Wow, you really messed up on those chords." And she was like, and I was like, I was getting a Capri Sun. Like, I was like chilling and I was about to go hang out with my friends. And she's like, "Wow, you really messed up on it, huh? You like really screwed up today." And I was like,
That's so mean.
That's so brutal.
so then I
How
proceeded to
old
screw
were
up on my
you?
songs too. And that was like,
Oh
and
my
like some of the songs I
God.
did okay in, but like some of them I screwed up in bad, like screwed up in places that I usually would be fine with. And I was freaking out the entire time because in the back of my head, I'm like, that parent is watching me right now. She is 3 rows away and she is watching me fail it.
How
And
old
like,
were you?
I was like 9. No, I was 10. That was my second recital, and I was
Okay,
so
wait.
scared.
Wait, what is
Okay.
it? Piano?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
parent
not
goes-
that bad. I was really bad at piano, like to the point where my teacher was like, "Yeah, you should quit," and she made me quit.
I remember for birthday parties, for one of them, Natalie and I, like, my mom would set up these games where you'd tie a balloon on a string and then tie it to your ankle. And then everyone would, like, all the kids would gather around this area and we'd try to stomp out each other's balloons. And me and one of my
you crush
friends,
each
I
other's
was like,
ankles.
let's team up on Natalie. It was Natalie's birthday. And I was like, we
Oh.
gotta get her first. And I remember getting her, and I was like, extremely excited about that.
Remember, Charlie always complained whenever the two of us had to share a bed because I would always kick them in my sleep. I don't.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't anymore. When I got older, I didn't so much. It was mostly when I was younger. But I did try and steal the covers a lot because the way I sleep, I take the cover and I curl it around me and sort of like this.
Yeah.
So I would steal like more than half of the covers and just leave them with nothing, and they would be very distressed. But I would just be asleep, so they couldn't do anything about
right?
it.
Do you know in hotels I have like that really long like pillow,
Mhm.
which is me. I would take that and put it between my sister and I. So maybe
Yeah,
in the
we
night
do
it
that.
wouldn't, like we wouldn't hit each
It
other.
doesn't work because my brother ends up like he sometimes like sleeps sideways, so he just turns.
Yeah,
He's
right?
still kicking.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm just like, what's the point of that?
That reminds me of one time when I was sharing a bed with my cousin Katie, and she just and like we were both on our both sides, and like we're both sharing the blanket fine. It was fine until she like literally flopped her entire arm over onto my side of the bed, and I was like, come on,
Just a slap. It's a rude
I was just
awakening.
like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she accidentally smacked me. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And so I just sort of had to like, I didn't want to wake her up because it was the middle of the night. So I was like, as gently as possible, trying to like pick up her hand and move it back to her side of the bed.
Wait, no, but the thing is, my brother, every time he moves, he refuses to like move away because usually when he's still moving, he's still conscious. So like, I try to move his arm, like, but he like fight me back, just keep his arm there the entire time.
No, I'm gonna take up the entire bed. There's nothing you can do about it.
I just wake up and she'll be like right there. I'll just shove her over. I swear, because she just won't move. No, not off the bed. Just shove her on her side because I'm like way over here. I'm like, over and I'm like tired and angry.
I used to be such a competitive child. Like, even now I'm pretty competitive, but like in most cases I won't be as emotional. But when we'd play baseball out in the front yard with our friends, I was like insane. And I would do anything to get on base, so like no one would tag me out. And this one time, I hit the ball and I was going to first base. I remember it bounced off of the truck, so it was like maybe about 10 feet away from me getting there. I was about like 3 feet away now from the base, and I was like, at the time I just started watching MLB, and all the guys would like slide to the base when they needed to, right?
Did you try it?
Yeah.
You tried it, didn't you?
Except I was wearing
no.
shorts, and it was on concrete.
Oh,
And you know the
no.
part where they take out that little like the little square and there's like stuff under, like it goes to sewage or goes to electricity. So it's like a bumpy kind of concrete. I slid on that. Like,
Ugh.
and I was proud though. I stood up and I was like, yes, I got it. But then I looked down, my knees are bleeding.
Yeah.
And I was like, I
That's
still
that
have
is
scars, but it was sort of kind of worth it because I think we ended up winning that day. Yeah.
I was also intensely competitive when I was little. I remember one time there was a short period of time when the game Sorry was like banned. Like I couldn't
Yes.
play. I was not allowed to play
Oh.
Sorry for like
I've never played
several
it.
months because I couldn't play it without bursting into tears because I always lost. And that made me
Yeah. Wait.
distressed.
Do you know how like upset I was when I found out that my parents had purposely let me win Sorry like multiple times, so I didn't even like really win.
But I still have a habit of winning regularly, and I think that's just because I have creepily good board game luck.
You're just flexing your good luck on us. I see.
That's like the only thing I have good luck in, though. Okay, it's like it's just solely for board games. It's weird, and I don't know why it's a thing, but
I
it
have
is.
absolutely no luck. I'm so unlucky.
That's sort of like another example of that. Another thing that I like to play, but I am horrible at, is video games. But
Ooh.
there's very little parts of video games. I mean, I guess maybe if you have a weird type of video game, but almost like very little bits of video games are actually solely luck based, which means I suck at video games, and so I just suck at video games because I don't ever have any luck to help me out. So I just sort of play everything on the easiest mode and still die a bunch. It's fine.
With video games, one time this girl came over with her family, and it was her and her little sister. They were around me and Natalie's age. And I was playing Just Dance, and Mom was like, go set it up for them. You can all play together. Because every time kids come over, she's like, go set up the Wii U. Once we got it, and I was like, so we start Just Dance, and I was like dancing around to it, and I was like, I held the high scores for everything because I love that game. And I would play, and then she'd always be like about 500 points below me, so it wasn't like winning by a lot or anything. But then one day she was like, here, let me choose it. I play Just Dance all the time at my after school, and this is the one that I always play. And she pulls out this hip hop one that I've never played, and on the screen it's like it's new.
Whoa.
There's 0 stars on it because I've never played it. And she goes, here, let's play this one. I'm like,
Nah.
this is gonna be bad. I'm gonna get my first loss, and this is like the last one we were gonna play that day. And then she was like, okay, let's go. And so I danced, and I beat her by like 5 points. 5 points is like one swipe away from losing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness, thank goodness. Because like I almost lost that one, and she was so hyped up. She's like, I know I can beat you in this one. And I was like, she probably could. It's hip hop. I don't do hip hop. I was just too competitive. Most of these stories, I'm just me being a jerk because I was like, I have to win this. I have to.
One time, one of my close friends in preschool was like, come over here, I want to show you something. Like, come here so I can show you something. And I was like, okay, all right. And so then she goes to her desk, and then she goes to sit down at her desk, but the chair's not there. She thinks the chair is there, but it isn't there. So she goes to sit down, she just falls straight on the floor. And I, having no idea what she wanted to show me, assumed that it was like a practical joke. Like she was like, watch me do this funny thing. And so I started laughing. And then she got really upset because it wasn't on purpose, and she started crying, and she like was like gonna go to the teacher, and I was like, no, I'm sorry, I thought that was what you wanted to show me. So that's another thing that happened to me in preschool.
Okay, so that was today's episode. So that was our weird childhood stories. We still don't have an outro.
I do have a question though, which
Unprepared.
is how interesting do you all think that last episode was? Because we didn't make quite as many jokes as we did our previous recording session. I mean, it was just sort of like stories and stuff.
I think
I don't even remember the last one.
Or like we expected them to be weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I suppose because like the last one was just food, so when like odd topics came up, it was more of a surprise, so we found it more amusing. Where it's just like all little children are just wacky. They're just
there's not much judgment going on because we've all done something that was possibly stupider. That's a word.
Here's one more good story. Is the very first time I met Megan, my stepmom, my mom's wife. The very first time I met her, I ate it was at the zoo. We went to the SF Zoo. I ate
That's
an
an
ice
awkward
cream
place to
cone
meet someone.
from the bottom. Like I was
Oh.
because it was something that I had seen in a Calvin and Hobbes strip, and in the Calvin Hobbes strip it went very poorly, like it didn't work out. But for some reason, my 9-year-old brain was like, that seems like a good idea. And so I did it, and that must have been quite the first impression, because this is the first time she had ever met me. And it was just like it was a mess. It was had very little foresight as a child.
So on that note, that was the episode for the day. There's one thing I forgot to talk about, which is I kissed a guy. Anyways, bye. That's it.
Whoa, wait, you're just gonna leave?
Wait, is this going in the podcast? Wait a second. Whoa.
Hi guys, Melanie editing here, and to clarify, I meant I kissed a guy in preschool. Well, sort of. So yeah, this is the official outro, I guess, because it's the last thing that's gonna be heard. So yeah, bye.